Hey guys, what's up? Hardcore here. So we decided to make a video about the upcoming expansion, Dawntrail, and we thought we might give out some tips and tricks on how to prep for the new expansion. Joining me here, Sigma6, also known as a GIF, and Kaiser Wolf, right next to me. Say hi.
How's it going, guys?
There you go.
Yeah, so we figured that there's probably quite a large number of people that this is either their first time with an expansion, or maybe this is their second, but they really weren't. They didn't feel like they might have been ready for the expansion as much as they could have been. And there are things that I find from having gone through many of them that, can help. And so the reason why we're in the workshop of an FC is the first one, and this is one that is just out there for anybody in an FC, whether you're solo or you have a huge amount of people. One of the things you can always do to help is with the workshop, you can get higher tiers. So I'm going to come down here because I've already prepped it. So what I have in here, once it's ready, would be a Heat of Battle 3. So obviously everybody knows Battle 1 and 2 you get from your grant company. You can also make them in here. But Heat of Battle 3 or any of the 3s like that one are only available from your grant company. And you need a table to put it in. To prime it takes, I think it said 70 hours when I put the last one in. And it just gives you a prime grade wheel of confrontation. And this will give you Heat of Battle 3 ready. There's also ones for the crafters and gatherers, which I'll probably get to once I feel like I've gotten enough Heat of Battles for my FC. And this is just to help get a little bit more XP going. There's always going to be food. There's always going to be other ways of getting the XP going.
For the whole FC, if you have like a lot of members who are just starting to play.
Exactly. Even for solo, there is some other things that you can get, but they're harder to come by than these. And this is because, one, we're going to have a brand new expansion. You're going to be going from level 90 to 100, but also for everybody that wants to play the new classes. You want to get up to 90 as fast as possible so you can start in on the new content with them. I know a lot of people want to do that because they always look really good, and a lot of times they're a lot of fun to
especially
play in the
class
new
ones.
expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Viper, the Pictomancer. Beastmaster is going to take a while before I feel we're going to have a large group of people playing it like we do Blue Mages. But this also, with the jobs and classes, this also goes into the other points, which are pretty much primarily going to focus on what you can do to prep, either to play the class or to make money off the market boards from those classes. So obviously, gathering materials. The reason for this is you want to be ready for all of the gear that's you're probably gonna want to make to sell on the market boards. Not everybody's gonna be able to do some of the other stuff, so selling the gear will probably net you a lot of money. And we've had in the past where they'll make primal weapons for the new jobs. However, they don't always go back very far, and we may just not even see any from the last expansion. So it's always good to have the materials ready just in case, but it's best not to expect to use them. It's one of those 50-50 on if it's going to happen or not. So that's kind of that's 3 of the points gone. The 4th one is, if you can, buy all of the poetic gear you can for the 2 new jobs. So buy all of the outfit that says ninja on it, because that's going to all be for Viper, and same for Pictomancer, that's going to all be casters.
They use the same gear, right? The ninja and Viper. Yeah.
That's why they added Viper, was so that way Ninja would have another job that shares its armor.
Yeah, Ninja has been
Now,
like around for a while and haven't shared gear with
Oh, yeah.
any class.
The only gear they share is their accessories with the physical range, so Bard, Machinist, Dancer.
Oh,
Yeah,
But-
it was like that for a long time for Lancer and Dragoon too.
Lancer.
But now that they got Reaper, so
Yep.
now there's
Same for Monk.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. Buy what you can. Obviously, you're not going to be able to buy the weapons. But all of the major accessories, your helm, your chest, those can all be bought with Poetics. So long as you're doing something in-game, you're almost always going to be able to get the Poetic gear. And yes, it might take a week or more to get it all if that's what you're really grinding for. But you could wait until, 2 or 3 weeks before expansion drops, get all the gear except for the weapons. You're ready to go into Endwalker, Dawntrail.
Oh my god, the same
Well,
thing.
you're able to go into Endwalker, Fates, Dungeons, everything with the best gear possible. So, and the last thing is for whatever class you're going to be playing as, through the new main scenario for Dawntrail, try and get the highest item level gear possible, because that will last you the longest through the expansion. You might be able to get, if you have the best gear, you might be able to get up to, the level 65, 67 dungeon and still be adequate enough. For tanks, you may want to start sooner, because a lot of times, and this has been happening since Stormblood, tanks have always felt the squishiest in a new expansion area.
Oh, it's always been in each... I remember that happening in Shadowbringers and Endwalker. But it's always
Tanks
like
always get
healers...
squishy.
Yeah, healers always struggled healing tanks, especially at the beginning of each expansion, for some reason.
I cannot
not
tell you
sure
how...
how.
I can't tell you how different it was to go from playing a tank in Heavensward to Stormblood dropping, going into that first level 61 dungeon, and it felt like I was made of paper.
Maybe because of the, they changed some damage input, I think. I think
Possibly.
UCP talked about it.
So, but these are just the 5 things I've found since I've been playing. I try to prep around for an expansion. Otherwise, just play the game, have fun, and be ready for the expansion. I mean, that's the best you can do otherwise. Did you have anything, Sigma?
About the
Not
new job
necessarily.
sharing the same gear? You're not gonna be a rogue?
Well, the thing is, I guess I was already pre-prepped for Viper years ago, given that the fact that I'm a ninja main, so I kind of lucked out. But it is a good thing that they did add something, so that way Ninja did share gear. Normally you can buy one gear and it kind of carries you across multiple jobs, like for most of the tanks. Yeah, and so a lot of their gear is shared, but Ninja and Dragoon for the longest time were very unique. So like if you had like striking gear, you would have to get, or like range gear, you would have to get like all the same gear, but then for like this one job, you had to get like its own unique set of armor. That it just, for a lot of times, if you have to buy it from the market board, it could be very expensive, especially if you're trying to get all jobs up to the max cap. Now you actually have something where you can actually swap out something for Ninja, and hopefully with Viper coming out, hopefully the armor that they add has a little bit of flair to it, because I can say, out of all the jobs, Ninja probably has such a mixed bag when it comes to glams and just unique armor, because the game doesn't know if it wants you to be a ninja, it doesn't know if it wants you to be a rogue, it does. And then now with Viper coming, who knows what they're going to do, because Viper's gear more so they kind of look like Reapers as far as their aesthetics go. They kind of look like seasoned adventurers. They don't look like rogues, because rogues in this game are more geared towards like thieves and pirates. Ninjas are ninjas, of course, but their gear.
Well, I think the Viper was kind of pushing pirate in the expansion video.
I was thinking like that because it reminds me a lot like what Corsair was in Final Fantasy XI. If anybody's seen has ever played that DLC of Final Fantasy XI, they have that look to them. But Ninja, I would say, as far as the gear is concerned, the game doesn't know if it wants you to be a ninja, if it wants you to be a rogue, because the glam is all over the place. And it's very hard for people that were ninjas, or to say are ninjas, to actually get glams that fit the ninja aesthetic, to make you look like a ninja. So I think as far as if you're using older stuff, I think it will fit more so towards Viper than it does for Ninja. But with Viper being like the poster child of Dawntrail, hopefully to come out with like all these different new looks for that specific class, or as to say both of those classes. Because right now, I would say there was a lot of reasons why people that don't play Ninja or Rogue, namely Ninja, because why wouldn't you use the advanced job? But the reason why they don't really play it is because all the glams, I mean, I would say 80% of the glams that drop for Ninjas is just terrible. I mean, good for stats, but terrible for aesthetics.
Well, that brings up, you know, in prepping, do you prep for having to spend more time finding the right glam for your character, or is it just go with what you get? And I think that's up to each person, because you could spend a bit more time having to grind something if you know where a weapon comes from, but there's no guarantee that every dungeon is going to have a weapon for the two new jobs.
It's RNG, actually. It's like, you don't know, that's why you keep grinding for a while, so...
I would say anything Endwalker will probably have weapons for Viper and Pictomancer.
Oh, that
typically on average, they go back to the previous DLC. So like what you were saying with the primal weapons, typically what they do is with the newer jobs, they at least go one DLC back and add those weapons, because whatever ones they don't have like glowing versions of, they'll add those ones in for the new jobs. And it's been pretty consistent for like the last 3 DLCs.
Yeah, because I was hoping that they were going to do stuff for Samurai and Red Mage back in Stormblood. So I prepped a lot of the old primal and even the crafted Allegan weapons and gear, and nothing dropped. So I dropped quite a bit of money and time into gathering the items, and they weren't there. So
I think that's the point of us saying, like, crafting weapons as soon as the expansion comes out is the best option.
Accessories, I would probably say, are going to be the #1, because they're almost always going to give you the 5 major pieces
armor
besides
sets,
your weapon. Yeah, your armor set and your weapon. Accessories are almost never included. So those will sell the most. The only other thing is if it's high quality, people might go for it. But again, if they can do poetics or something, they will go that route too.
And pre-order if you haven't already done so, because you already get the earring that allows you to get the extra EXP boost. That'll come in handy. So I'm not trying to say, you know, people should spend extra money, but if you do have that little bit of extra money where you can go ahead and get it now, pre-ordering is going to probably be your best bet. It comes with a lot of different bonuses. Yeah, the earrings is going to be...
earrings are only pre-order, so
Yep.
That'll also be something else to help with boosting yourself up to 90 for the new jobs.
And not only that, man, but that dope mount, man, that's probably going to be, I would say, there's so many things that's coming out with this DLC that it's so much to hype about. And even when it comes to like small aesthetic stuff, like that mount breaks the cycle of animal themed mounts for like the collector editions, because you had the coral mounts, then you had the horse mounts, you had the Nessie mount for...
I think this mount is getting the most hype for a collector's edition after the Stormblood.
I don't remember even that mount. What was it?
It's art from Final Fantasy IX.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like Cruise Chaser from Alexander, but it's the original
I pre-ordered
version.
it and I didn't even look.
Yeah, it's.
But
You
this
should
is
look at
gonna-
it. It looks like a Gundam, and it has two forms. So of course, when it's out on the ground, it's in its
I think
mech
it's
form.
just gonna actually be an action change.
Yeah, I think you might be right. If it's an action change, even better. Because normally, like some of the mounts, they'll automatically change for if you're on the ground, and when you take off, it transforms into something different. But I think if you can have it fly, then you can change the action to where it's in air in its plane form, and then if it's on the ground, you can have it on its plane form as an action. That would be dope. I mean, because there's a lot of mounts in the game. I would say there's very few mounts in the game that actually have actions. But to have a specific action to swap between the two forms freely would be dope.
But the last collector's edition mount that got the most hype was probably the Nessie mount from Stormblood, because swimming underwater. But the one that got it in Endwalker wasn't the collector's edition. It was the Lunar Whale that they were releasing for purchase.
But
so
that's pretty much how we are gonna talk about the tips and how to prep for it. And if you guys have any question, you can comment down below about what do you need answer for. We'll be happy to help, all three of us. But this is just our thoughts and tips on how to prep for the new expansion. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.